We're going to get started now. So first of all, I just want to thank the Digital Writers Festival for involving us in their amazing event. It's nice to be able to view Writers Festival stuff and not have to go to Melbourne to do it. I know we have the Brisbane Writers Festival, but yeah. So the Brisbane Writers Festival is great, but this is cool too, and it's online. You can stay in your bedroom. So I just want to, so in keeping with the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands where QUT now stands, and recognise that these have always been places of teaching and learning. I wish to pay respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge the important role Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to play within the community. And now I'm going to bring Sarah Holland back up to have a little chat with you guys. I don't know what she wants to say. What did she say something mean about it?
I would never say something mean about Sam and Chloe. Hi everyone, it's nice to see you all. It's nice to see you all digitally as well. This is the 5th year of the QUT Lit Salon, which is kind of incredible. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the work that students have put in running the salon over the past 5 years. So I'd like to acknowledge Grace Finlayson, who ran it for 2013 and 2014, Chloe Hollard, who ran it for 2015, Sarah Nielsen and Danae Baggs, who ran it in 2016, and of course Chloe and Sam, who ran it in 2017. I think this is also just a nice time to acknowledge what a fantastic venue the Menagerie has been over the past years. It used to be room 60. We've been coming here for so long that we've been through a venue change, but thank you very much to the Menagerie, and thank you to all of the partners over the years of the Lit Salon, including the Digital Writers Festival, but also Review of Australian Fiction, the Queensland Poetry Festival, and the Brisbane Fringe Festival. And I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge all the students who've come up and been brave and read at the Lit Salon over the years, and all the audiences who've made this such a fantastic event. So thank you and enjoy this anniversary.
Thank you, Sarah. Also, I just want to acknowledge that last month I was at my peak, so I'm really sorry. I'm just not feeling loosey like I was last month. Let's just get started. First up, we have Alex Philp. Alex Philp is a Brisbane-based writer. Her short fiction has appeared in Overland and in the Review of Australian Fiction. She's currently completing her PhD in creative writing at QUT.
That's stupid to be in the back, sorry. Thank you.
This story is very Brisbane to me, which I heard was kind of the theme of tonight. I wrote it after being inspired by working in hospitality in the Redlands. Work is busy because everyone wants seafood for the weekend. I wrap up butcher's paper filled with prawns, Moreton Bay bug, salmon steaks, dory. Josh is happy because our sales will be good and the owners will be happy with him. He's only been manager for 5 months and he's still on probation. He jokes around with us, putting on music and scaring me when I come around the corner. There's a bit of mullet that needs to go today. Not the good one, ocean mullet, the creek one. Josh fries it up and we eat it for lunch. I take my break at 2:30 and the mullet has gone cold and rubbery and I squat beside the fire screen door and eat it with my fingers. The flesh is sweet and muddy, and I bite into it gently, like I would bite into a lip. When I get to the skin, I rip it up and eat it in one go. The texture fatty and scaly like the skin of a needle. It settles, wet and oily, held deep in my belly. Right before we close, I serve a woman who for a second I think is my sister. From behind, she has the same haircut, and when she comes up to the counter and asks for scallops, her voice is exactly the same pitch. I serve her quietly, put the order through the till without saying much. She smiles when she thanks me, the crow's feet beside her eyes deepening, and I have the urge to reach out and place my fingertips against the sunspots of her temples. She leaves, and as I drive home, I think, how could I ever have thought that that old woman was my sister? My sister was a diver. She trained with a squad at the Chandler Pool and competed in the 3-metre springboard and the 10-metre platform. When she was 15, she made the national squad. Her best dive was the forward 3.5 somersault. She was able to do a perfect pike, legs straight, toes pointed, chest flat to her thighs. She trained 5 days a week and her coach had her follow an eating plan. She did physio and Pilates. From the age of 8, she only smelled like chlorine. Her coaches talked about the Olympics like it could really be a thing, and my mother took out 3 separate loans and sold her wedding rings to pay the squad fees. When my sister was 16, she dislocated her shoulder during a dive at the trials for the Commonwealth Games. She screamed as she hit the water. The underwater camera showing her eyes squeezed shut and her mouth open and bubbles rushing out, and she breathed in water and came up coughing. She had shoulder problems before, and not even months of rehab were enough. Sometimes, after, my squad would come to the house and bring bags of chips and cans of Coke. They'd sit with her as she watched daytime TV, mostly Ellen, mostly Ready, Steady, Cook. They'd try to find space on her to write on her sling, but I'd already filled it up with black Nico. Scribbles of stars and zigzags, hearts and birds, a drawing of a girl's face with her hair in a long, luxurious spray. I was officially retired 5 months later. She finished high school and kept her job at Coles. I kept my job at the seafood house. Sometimes when I close my eyes during a slow hour at work, I see her muscly body fall into the water. I see her lying at my feet on the pool edge, her arm jutting out from her shoulder socket like a crab claw. Her mouth wide in a stream, spit dangling onto her chest as she's lifted off the terracotta tiles and taken from view. That night I wake and think I'm about to vomit. My mouth fills with saliva and I tie up my hair as I lean over the toilet bowl and think of the old mullet in my stomach. I'm sweaty and shaky, and I stay in the toilet for a long time, but nothing happens. I stare at the tiles and try to find patterns, tracing my finger over the grout. On one of the tiles, I find a girl with both toes pointed and one arm outstretched. Imagine a girl with her body tense but for one arm loose and unnaked. Imagine the girl diving swiftly into the water. Now, see from below, the diver, ferocious, coming towards you. Thank you. Another round of applause for Alex. Next up we have Leo Porter. Leo Porter is an emerging Brisbane poet who's finishing his 2nd year of his bachelor's in law fine arts at QUT. And he had a typo in his bio. He's been published in Tundish Review, Veronica Mag, and Pastel. He recently performed at the Queensland Poetry Festival as part of the QUT Literary Salon. He is inspired by Pablo Neruda, Khalil Gibran, and Leonard Cohen. Leo.
My poems are freshly out of the word oven, so please be very critical. This one is called Dear Brisbane. Dear Brisbane, I love you like I love the gift calculator I received one Christmas. The way no one swoons at one's practicality but marries them for it. I've sworn you off more times than my job, yet here I am in your concrete tendrils, coiled in your exsanguined exactness. Your dysmorphia is concerning. Big town mentality, small town problems. The world hears you like one hears the fire crackle in a cigarette, while they experiment to see if beer cures lung cancer. You Ash City, your sandstone banality, you cornucopia of planning, utopia of sanity. Have you ever heard, said, looked at the word okay, So often, it begins to look like a bridge. Your labyrinth of tarmac capillaries leading only to highways in your solar plexus, mapped smartly, only feigned composure. I've stared at cracks in your teeth and the blood in your homeless. I know some by name. I love you like skin loves the sun. I love you undone. This one's not really about Brisbane, but it's in Brisbane, so it is about Brisbane. It's called Unliteracy. At some point in my life, I stopped seeing things as things and saw them as words, but now I'm afraid I'm going blind. The world used to be so much more beautiful to me. Trees stopped being trees and they became efflorescent cigarettes spewing leafy smoke from their branches. Each fallen piece of bark, a single letter, sentences tattooed on thick wood bodies. They told incredible stories of sadness. Pebbles scattered on the ground was the world trying to micromanage, trying to punctuate its random glory and make it more fathomable. The full stops and apostrophes of stone thrown down, dug up, managing its ground up words. City lights were fallen stars that lay upon the earth. Skyscrapers strung them up like trophies and lined them along their walls. I used to hear the moon cry about her loneliness, cloudy teardrops dropping over her slaughtered children below, humanity mocking her with a very lighted stole. I never wrote poems, I just saw the words and put them together. I never wrote poems, the world has revealed them to me. But now I'm afraid I'm going blind. Trees just look like trees, and pebbles are just pebbles, and the stars got tired of competing with us and surrender. Am I just tired, or am I losing my sight? And this one, I depicted Brisbane as the angsty adolescent that she is. It's called Sydney's Sister. You know she longs to be like you, blonde and orange skies as wounded light bleeds before the night as she cries. Her taxidermied stars like arachnid eyes that stare into your collection. She cannot compare, but she does anyway. She dares to contemplate vivisection on her own brown snake to see if it will swell, to see if it is swell. Her straight grey roads, bleach clean in crew-cut spools, seem much less cool than your stray braids that splay haywire. Chaotic svelte, sweltering temperament, always too much. She heard your friend felt like summer, so she sang the sun full belt. She creeps through the night hours with not enough vocation to wail, not enough light to dream, not enough ambition to fail, but jealous of your dozy murmurs as you read in your sleep by feeling your streets, the unholy sermons people dotted like braille. She lists your words as law. Your law is scripture, sticks to the script, doesn't draw, just colors within the ink lines and only uses your pictures. She's looking for herself in the light of your heart. Tell her that's the wrong place to start. Tell her that the green that keeps her roads apart is refreshing and that she deserves her own art and discovering that is a blessing. Tell her that she's beautiful for wanting to be more, that she is already beautiful. Just see her seashore, crusted sandy cuticles that embraces crystalline edge and parks that remind us what we need trees for. Tell her neatness is a virtue and character is something you work to, and to have colored streets you might need to break curfew. But you're important and you're young and being different won't hurt you. I suppose tell her that she's loved. She just needs to hear you say it. Thanks.
Another round of applause for Lee. Kind of redundant to have people clap twice, isn't it? Oh well, it's fun. I like having you up. Next up is Emily O'Grady. Emily O'Grady is a writer from Brisbane and PhD candidate at QUT. Her fiction and poetry have appeared in Review of Australian Fiction, Westerly, The Lifted Brow, The Big Issue Fiction Edition, and award-winning Australian writing. In 2017, she placed second in the Rachel Finari Prize for Fiction and was shortlisted for the Queensland Premier's Young Publisher and Writers Award. Emily.
I am reading an extract from a story called West Coast. This is not set in Brisbane, but I do say the word Brisbane several times. Jenny stood when the Falcon pulled into the bus station. The window was down, something brash and metal blasting through the speakers. The driver called out her name, head turtling out the window. Ben, stop at work, the man said. He'll pick you up from mine when he knocks off. Ben was supposed to pick Jenny up on his lunch break. She'd stay the night at his house, and they'd drive to Brisbane tomorrow for Kate's and Marshall's wedding. Jenny knew she should have insisted on waiting, but she couldn't bear another second of it. The drone of flies, the fiery smell of dry grass. She lugged her suitcase and dress to the car and clambered into the front. The man had pushed his sunglasses onto his head, and his eyes were pale and blue, the most striking thing on an otherwise plain face. Pete, he said, pulling onto the road. Good to meet you. They passed a cluster of fast food joints, a pub with orange scrollwork over the facade. An ornate Chinese restaurant stood opposite, where Jenny's family had eaten after the funeral of her cousin's wife and 2 kids a decade earlier. Everyone thought Mick had done a runner until they found his body near the quarry the day after the funeral. Jenny rarely thought about that though, only of Jackie and those baby boys. As they drove through an industrial estate, the occasional paddock with scrawny horses pining at the fence, Jenny became aware of the distance they'd travelled. She was hit with a panic that the road was endless, that they were barrelling into nothing, until Pete pulled up in front of a small house. He had no neighbours, but Jenny could see a cluster of similar houses further up the street, a shopping trolley corpsed in the scrub. The door was unlocked, and Pete whacked open the fly screen. Jenny left her things at the front door, followed him into the kitchen. As Pete took 2 beers from the fridge, the phone rang. He disappeared into the house, and Jenny drank the beer down quickly. She stretched her fingers over the bench top, stared at her ring finger. When she posted Lou a picture, he said it was perfect, exactly what he would have chosen for her. She bought the ring at Cash Converters back in March. Lou said he'd arranged for his aunt to reimburse her the cash when Jenny got to Fresno. That was Ben, Pete said, appearing in the kitchen. He'll be a couple hours still. Some girl's been found tied up in a caravan out near the dam, leech in her throat, half dead, he reckons. Jenny tried to feel sorry for the girl, but she couldn't muster anything. She took a step toward the front door where she left her things. Her suitcase was gone, her shoes and dress as well. I put your stuff in there, Pete said, pointing his beer to a door down the hall. Don't like having mess about the place. Jenny followed him into the room. The walls were painted lavender, and there were alien-coloured glow stickers on the ceiling, stuffed toys clustering the bed. He nodded toward the garment bag hanging from the cupboard handle. That your dress for the wedding, he said, unzipping the bag. The dress was pale purple, similar to the colour looking the walls. Your husband not invited then? Jenny's ring felt like a weight. Fiancé, she said. The word tasted girlish in her mouth, sticky. They sat on the patio. Pete had set out a jar of mayo and half a lemon. The fillets were full of bones, and they picked them from their mouths, set them at the rim of their plates. After they'd eaten, Pete lit a mosquito coil, got another round from the fridge. The last of the sun glowed a chemical orange, feeding birds black against the sky, their squawks heinous.
Jenny felt herself start to relax, her body turning heavy. She asked Pete what he did for work. Nothing, Pete said. Right, Jenny said. Thought you must have been a tradie. Why'd you think that? Pete said. I don't know, I just thought. Pete took a sip of beer. I used to be a disability support worker, but after I won the lotto, I thought, what's the point? I don't need the money, not for a little while anyway. You won the lotto? Jenny asked. Pete smiled. Paid off the house, bought a new car, had tenderloin for tea every night for a couple of weeks, but got sick of that pretty quick. I'm vegetarian now, you believe, except for fish, that is. Jenny stood and went into the child's bedroom, wheeled her suitcase out to the patio. She had a staggering feeling, like something had aligned and the universe had placed her exactly where she was supposed to be. She wanted to reveal a part of herself. She wanted to open herself up to the world. Jenny knelt down and unzipped, watched Pete's face as he glanced over the wigs like thick, shiny pelts. She bought 3 and perched on top of her folding clothes. They looked disturbing, like she was farting around 7 heads. She took one out, blonde, textured, held over her fists like a hand puppet. You're not sick, are you? Pete said. No. She took off the wig she was wearing, a sandy bob, and tipped her head upside down, fitted the blonde wig on. Pete reached over and touched a strand of the hair as though checking it were real. Jenny was flying out of Brisbane the day after Kate and Marshall's wedding. She told her family she booked a tour along the West Coast, San Diego, Death Valley, Monterey. Her father had scoffed. You need a passport for that, girlie. Jenny showed them the brochures she grabbed from the travel agents, and they hadn't asked questions after that. Lou's aunt was going to pick her up from the airport. She'd stay the night in Fresno and then get a bus south, find a motel in Corcoran. The prison wasn't far from the town centre, and in his last letter, Lou told Jenny her name was on the visitors list. Back when it began, Jenny asked her mother to take a photograph against the tin shed in the soft morning light. Told her it was for the work newsletter. She chose the blonde wig, and her mother uncapped a bullet of lipstick and smudged it onto Jenny's lips and cheeks. She sent Lou the photo, and in his reply, he told her she looked like Jane Mansfield, that hair, and that his life was like an endless year of sleep, but the photo of her against the sparkling silver was waking him up. She folded the letter back into its envelope, added it to the folder, her secret life, her inexplicable future. Another round of applause for Emily. So I'm just actually, I totally skipped over someone and just like rushed Emily into the order. It's fine. Next up, who should have been before, is Rebecca Cheers. At least you don't have to sing happy birthday to her this week. Rebecca Cheers is a writer and third-year BFA student at QUT. She writes mostly for print and theatre and has edited Wolfpack, a Golden Staple-winning zine publishing femme and non-binary artist since 2014. Her theatre work has been featured in the Anywhere Festival and Fresh Blood Festival, and she has contributed to VoiceWorks, the QUT Literary Salon, and Yarn Storytelling. Rebecca.
Hello. So I read 3 poems last time, but it was quite short, so this time I've gone for 4. We'll see if I can get under the time. They are from a cycle of poems that I'm working on that kind of tells a ghost story, so it's poems 1 through 4 consecutively, but not straight through. And the first one is called The Gap, which is a suburb in Brisbane, so I've skated into the thing. Keys on a ring with a foam rubber frog left tucked on the top of the frame. An address printed out with the Craigslist receipt in case anyone asks. Nobody asks, but they do leave a note, an emergency number, blue biro smile, and a mustard stain. Before, a drive that took 3 hours, 3 stops for Red Bull and 8 to consult a Rapidex bought on the day I left, from a man who hadn't sold one in months. Because people just look at their phones, he'd said. But the night before, I had laid my phone, held with one foot on the edge of the curb, brought the other one down, and left it in splinters. A driveway, then, with loose stones that threatened to shatter my windshield, not least my resolve, as it stretched past the houses on either side. A staircase of dark wood beams across creamy ceiling, a bookcase stocked with one encyclopedia, coffee rings, the specific cold of abandoned things. As promised, a landline, an answering machine, hooked up to nothing, its white plastic gills choked with dust. A call to the mustard-stained number because the front window was broken, 3 light bulbs are missing, the fridge has a smell. But the line seems engaged to a crackle so thick that it sounds like no sound on earth. Just as well. I will stay till the money runs out, until the tight thing in my chest breaks open. So it's also ready to hold the applause. And so this is the second one, it's called Giantess. Until I left, I never knew I could feel so big. When I get out of bed, I could swear the floor shakes and my bed head brushes the roof. I knock sides on door frames and table corners, sunglasses flying. The shards are so small I can't find them, and I don't try to vacuum them up because I couldn't feel them if I tried. The bruises on my sides are big, but so am I. I thought I'd feel so small in this big house full of no one. No one watches here. Just air between me and the walls, just wind between them and the road, nothing around the corners. I should feel like the shards, too small to break the skin, too small to touch the walls. What am I that I expand to fill my container? And then this one is probably called Haunted Answering Machine #1. The answering machine is plugged into nothing, and on the first day, I chuckle as I pass it. On the second day, I make my instant coffee, think about the time I wasted when I used to drink the real stuff, and I stir it on the balcony, but the crystals just won't melt. It's too bright out there anyway, and in a cool corner of the cooler house, my hands find the machine, looking for something they can affect. I unlatch the trapdoor with the tapes. But the cassette has warped or melted. It cracks when I try to pull it out, and the shards draw blood on my thumb. Drops of it fall into the film beneath, which should lie in 2 neat loops, but doesn't. By the third day, the tape has doubled in volume, and when I look, I can't find the blood, but the old tape has taken on a liquid sheen. I almost touch it, but then I don't. I've got these double-sided printing. And then this is the board that's called Loose Skin. Old houses make whale song when you turn the taps, and if anyone was here, I'd hear the moving. My old apartment wasn't old, it was solid, and the carpet swallowed sound. If I rolled in my chair, I could see shadows pass beneath the door, and when I pressed my cheek to one spot on the wall, thick whitewash where the plaster had been cracked beneath, I could hear the building breathe. Sometimes a house is just a house, and what if once you learn to watch, you never stop? What if you start to hear dial tones that don't sound like dial tones, taps that only run when you don't turn them, doors that open or never truly close, only to hear something? A snake growing tails just to eat them.
Another round of applause for Rebecca. And next up we have Annabelle. That always happens when I tell everyone that Annabelle's next. There's someone cheer when they have mine. Annabelle Fowler is a Brisbane-based writer. She's the co-collaborator of the Bronte and Annabelle Teen series, and her solo work appears in local themes such as the Tunnis Review, Wolfpack, and Ibis. She co-wrote the repairment for the 2017 Anywhere Theatre Festival. Annabelle.
Okay. Hi, so this is a creative response to reading Aeneas Nin in Chermside. So this is titled Trolley Erotica. 10:30 that night, I sat on the edge of the footpath and waited. Cars drove past the road beside me, but not many. The night was quiet and the cold air was piercing. The minutes I spent waiting felt like hours as my body trembled with nervous anticipation. He appeared and mumbled an apology for his late arrival. I brushed this off and we started moving for the suburb. I stole a glance towards him. The fluorescent glow of the overhead McDonald's sign bounced off his metallic body. He felt my gaze on him and rotated towards me, but I quickly turned away. We had met the night before. A woman had returned me to the wrong bay, and I found myself on an unknown level of the shopping centre car park. Unsure of how to get back home, I was on the brink of panic tears. Then he rolled towards me and asked if I was okay. Something about him enthralled me, and I felt compelled to see him again. He helped me back to the correct level and whispered for me to meet him the next day. I agreed, and I told him I felt the same. That night, with him next to me, I felt both calm and jittery. As we rolled through the back streets of Chermside, his rear wheel nudged against mine, and I felt an electric jolt shoot through me. Then, before I realized over an hour had passed, we found ourselves back in the McDonald's car park. We were close together, both laughing from something he had just said, when he pulled me towards him. The moment we touched, my body begged for more. And at once he had pushed me down into the garden bed behind the restaurant. I squealed in surprise as we tumbled together. Then he pressed his frame up against mine and I melted. I knew that my body was his to do with as he pleased. I felt weak as I surrendered myself to him. As he entered me, I felt as though my body had been made for his body. My metal had been painstakingly crafted and shaped for him to slide perfectly inside me. Until that moment, I had no idea that my body had been yearning for his. How empty I was, and I had never realized this before. It made me think to past lovers, and how no one had ever filled me so perfectly. I thought the one who always criticized the size on my left front wheel, or the one that commented that my coin slot was crooked. But that night, it all slipped away. Our bodies came together, over and over. His frame slammed into mine again and again, each time we frenzied. The sounds of our pleasure and the clanging of metal against metal rang out into the empty streets. In those final moments, I lost sense of everything that had ever been and would ever be. I wanted to consume him, but at the same time he consumed me entirely. We met in that moment of brief ecstasy and then it ended. We lay together in silence for a few minutes before we left. Afterwards, I felt different. I want to tell you that I felt older and wiser, but that would be untrue. I felt alone and sad. But I need you to understand that in the sadness I found freedom. The time that we had spent together would never be over. The ache inside me meant that we would always exist in a point of time. And I could take that time, wrap it up in a tiny little parcel, and keep it tucked away in my basket forever. And sometimes, when I wanted to remember that night and the way he made me feel, I could take that little parcel, unwrap it, and feel it all over again. So I returned to the shopping centre, tucked myself into the bed, and fell asleep alone.
That's like not even the weirdest thing that you've read here before though, so maybe like close second. Another round of applause for Annabelle. And we just got a PG rating. Next up is our final reader, Mindy Gill. Mindy Gill's poems have appeared in Australian Poetry Journal, Hecades, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Sparrow Literary Review, Island Magazine, award-winning Australian writing, and elsewhere. She's won the Tom Collins Poetry Prize, a Wheeler Centre Hot Desk Fellowship, and her manuscript, August Burns the Sky, was shortlisted for the Thomas Shatcott Poetry Prize. She is Peril Magazine's editor-in-chief. Mindy.
So I've been out of town for kind of a while, but this first poem is kind of about half me missing Brisbane, half me like thinking the rest of my life will be louder, better. Half me thinking the rest of my life will be like applying for grants and fellowships and all. An apartment for spring. Coffee is cheap here. The senior. The cab drops me to my door. I smell the lilies the landlord has planted with an eye cake. I walk my bags up 2 flights. If the weather holds, I'll go to the water at noon and read, swim a little, buy a salad sandwich from the dimly lit bakery. I'm thinking back to the last time I knew this.
Maybe in the dry field at summer, 15, cantering past cows and the young white horse, never asking anything. Happy to be loved and fed, brought to a stable when a storm came in. I'm working away from old ambition, measuring days by meals cooked, chores done, bones read, by how well I love the person I love. It is a strange, good feeling. Like riding the tram to the other side of town for a single glass of wine, buying books and pastries, then walking an hour home, the day given over to the next, without definition, and not caring. In the evening, by artificial light, I said, what can you tell me of life but me? Voices carry like small paper boats down the street from a small square room as we lie on a small square bed, full with pork and sticky rice and mango and happy. Waiting for the night to cool to take a taxi to the beach, to sit and watch the ocean, go out, come back in. To watch the skinny man ride his skinny babe along the shore as the seabirds make their final turns, shadows against the dimming sky. A little life on the water as the ferry passes. With enough money to walk to the fluorescent restaurant each night, to buy oysters, a mussel omelette, a sip of beer or tea. Never talking of the future, only the past and their achievements, which are private but fierce. Those luminous and irresponsible days, music in the upstairs bars against the green cumulus of afternoon. Driving past the buildings with deep childhood, the brilliance of white stone under the Pacific sun, the trees dark green from the rain. Driving toward the tunnel possibility, destroy a kind of brightness. We'll ruin one another and always such ignorance of brother. No freedom in it, but unsaid acceptance. To wake and lie there beside you, unburdened, knowing when we turn back to our lives, we will go as we came, unaccompanied, into the good dark. This next poem is called Apologia. It's a kind of love poem, and apologia means a formal written defense of one's claim of conduct. Take that as a no. Apologia. Because it is a lot like beauty, and as brief as the light is brief, when at night I stand by the river, they can't splash their lights in the black water on my feet to let this fall away with you so easy. Because your happiness is taken as purification. Happiness is sin. Because of your liver and pride. Because there is an invisible bird outside my window that speaks to me each morning, like it has known me from another life, a life where my losses are my own. Because the afternoons in the fourth floor apartment were borrowed days, denied fear. Because I thought I knew patience, but I was wrong. Because I've seen cities that belong to the dogs of the street beneath the white light at night, and they understand it as a place that will never disappear. Because of what my father said, anger is a pleasure, sadness a pain. Because I've seen the sky on fire with the rain. Because I waited for the ash and there was none. Because I smell there is water in the skin of the man and I live, back in that room frantic with destruction. Or in that phosphorescent stairwell high above the street near the foot of stupid jellyfish gazing down at the water. Because once I rode a tram in an ancient city, and every face I saw was yours. Because sometimes you say a name and fear will break and can never be said again. Because time doesn't heal every end. Because everything that endures must end. Because in the morning, beside you, I watch this valley open sweetly, because the world is delivering itself to us in the calm of an ageless child. It turns the bitter earth to honey, then a black river. And the valley is referenced for the two valleys, so slave for the This last poem is called Obeyed, and Obeyed, I kind of tried to write a very classical, outdated Obeyed in which the poem is about leaving a woman in the morning. Obeyed. Clean water in the porcelain basin, a sound of coffee on the balcony. The youngest spoon in the world smelling like snow, that is to say like nothing. Over a newspaper in bed, I pull an orange with a blunt knife that asks another word for singing. Your white shirt in a closet beside my white shirt. This lightness, the pink sulphate sky, somewhere ice on the mountains. That Arctic calm is killer sweet underwater that endures in from the street. Do you still hear it, Alice? The Mediterranean cycle and sleep. No money for artichoke cards, the fat of butter, and yet the square of morning. Almonds in a bowl by the bedside, the clear stone in your wedding ring. When you would say Bella, no sadness. The light is steady. It holds each time again. Thank you.
Another round of applause for me. And that's it for tonight, and that's it for this year, because that was our last salon for the year. Next year we'll pass it on to some fresh meat. Good luck to them. Thank you to the Menagerie for being excellent as always. Thank you to Digital Writers Festival for involving us. Hopefully they liked us and they'll come back next year. And thank you to Sarah and Pat for creating this thing and letting us be a part of it. And that's it. You can go now. Thank you.